Hello, beloveds. Hello, beloveds. I am feeling called to make this video because we have a lot of activity happening energetically in the next 24 hours. So let's just get into it. Now, a lot of you might be aware that we have a lot of astrological activity happening, and let me share my screens just so you can get a glimpse of what is happening. Gonna let me share? There we go. All right. Hoping this shows the screen. Boop, boop. All right. Let's see here. I'm hoping this is showing up for you. June 29th, we have 4 major transits happening in one day, and I'm trying to share a post on my screen from Asia Rose 13 on Instagram because it's a really great visual all in one slide. Mercury in retrograde begins in Cancer. There's a Mars square with the notes of fate, which I'm not as familiar with, and I'm sure folks could comment in the captions with insights around the significance of that because it is significant to a much greater degree than I can speak to. And a full moon in the sign of Capricorn. And later in that night, Jupiter switches to the sign of Leo and that's going to be significant in a bunch of ways. And I'll just play this in the background so that you can see some of the information. You can go to that link if you want. I will drop it in the caption. But it's, Mercury in retrograde tends to be a technological influence anyways. And the nodes of fate influence momentum, action, destiny, tension, and it'll feel like a big push and a lot of heightened energy, which can happen during a full moon anyway. And this will be a closing chapters, completion kind of energy, as well as having us reflect on the past 6 months. Then Jupiter is going to bring in expansion, opportunity, potentially ease and growth, and will force us to be feeling things, opening our hearts and leaning into emotion. This is all happening all at once. Yeehaw, right? And that is not inherently, it didn't show that at all because it without going in. So I'll just put that up in the background so that you can see it while I'm continuing to speak. It's still wanting to, okay, there we go. And so this is, as you can imagine, going to be energetically significant. I have been feeling it. Most of the folks that I am in community aware of astrology or energies to the community, which is in some cases even beyond my familiarity with such things like astrology. And all that being said, that does not take into account that the powers that be in the UN and CERN, who runs the Large Hadron Particle Collider in Geneva tonight. And this is not the first time that it's been turned off. It's been turned off twice prior for maintenance. And stop sharing that for a second. Wow, there's pop-ups everywhere. That's super exciting, right? Boop, boop. And you can look up information on CERN. They publish extensively on what they're doing, when they're doing, and there's plenty of information that they, don't share, understandably. But there's things are moving into this transition. And let me share this screen now. That highlights a couple of the events that happened, including The COVID immersion and shutdown was one of the events that transpired during that time. Here we go. This one should, there we go. So this will be the third shutdown for CERN. And within the first week of the Large Hadron Collider's first opening in 2008, the world experienced the biggest financial crash since in 2013. An undetected 20-meteor asteroid exploded over Russia in one of the most significant impacts in modern history. During the second shutdown between 2018 and 2022, because it takes approximately 4 years to shut it down, do all the work, and get it back online, national disasters, not to mention we all witnessed 2020 change the world forever. And I'm reading that verbatim from the screen in case you're using a screen reader. And this third shutdown happens in the midst of UN undergoing leadership changes, which UNESCO is was where CERN was first created. You can find that information on CERN's website. And, it's a pattern recognition situation. And it is worth noting that if you go into the historic section, there is posts from 2011. And let me stop sharing my screen again. Posts from 2011 where they refer to the work that they're doing, exploring the particle and dark matter, as the page is literally titled Angels and Demons when they're talking about the context in which they decided to start doing this research and their hypothetical outcomes in terms of what they were hoping to discover with the God particle. And the way that CERN operates, or the way that the collider operates and what its intentions were for those who aren't aware, the original intention was to smash particles together in a very large hadron collider. It's a very large loop, a circle. They smash particles together to try to replicate explosions that would mimic the Big Bang that created the universe. They're trying to create universes, but it also has the potential for creating black holes. And black holes have a great potentiality as energy sources. On the other side of black holes is theoretically white holes, where everything that's been sucked in gets emerged out. And there's a lot of information around all of that you can research. And one of the most interesting things, if you tie their Angels and Demons page from CERN, their own scientific webpage, together with what they're hoping to do with this shutdown, I will show, I can show you the pages from Octave, which is the company that they are working with to design the upgrades that they are sharing. I'll drop that in the comments for the article that describes what they're going to be doing. And the point of this upgrade is to more deeply explore the Higgs boson wave phenomenon. And they talk about what their plans are with that on CERN's website as well. So essentially, they're going to be exploring dark matter. And the Higgs and boson wave exists within that dark matter. A lot of things exist within that dark matter space. And that's where it comes up as an interesting portal, because when you are creating these portals over and over, with or without the appropriate energetic protections, things come in and out. And there's a lot of speculative science fiction that explores what could hypothetically happen in those situations. And there is a lot of speculation that a lot of what we've been experiencing has to do with that. And so that we can better harness the energy and particles that exist within that space is It's profound, but it's also concerning because of the people who hold power. We know that the Epstein files have been released and that there are ultra rich elites who have used magical practices and energetic practices to garner, harness, and hone their energy over the course of centuries now, increasingly improving their influence over humanity and society to negative detriment. And that's really what this whole post is about. You can do all of your own research. I could come up with a whole bunch of hypotheses around what's going to happen. And that's not really the point, because as a multidimensional person, I recognize that not all of us are going to end up in the same destination. Portals open up and not everyone goes to the same endpoints when they go through a portal. And what this is really about is calling attention to our center and our sense of connection to source, the source above all sources, the source that created everything that's even messing with us, and being in tune with our inner harmony to the extent that we know we are doing the shadow work to integrate our shadow selves, to align with a liberatory mindset for ourselves and our collective and our communities, and um, using this portal to imagine what we want to exist in the world, what we are birthing through these portals, because there are so many of us empowered, energetic beings who are aware and attuned and capable alchemists who can do profound things with this energy. And simply being aware of it, simply being aware that these portals are opening for our discerned use is like half the battle. So I can't speak to what you need to do personally with this energy. You tapping into a meditative state so that when midnight Eastern Standard Time tonight, they shut down the machine, you are already in a frequency intentionally that aligns with the future that you're building, that you're envisioning. Like that is the work. And I'm intending that this is going to receive the people who are going to use this information for the highest good of the collective. Um, because, yeah, we have an opportunity here to do something really important, really amazing. And it's it's easy to get caught up in concepts and constructs around conspiracies, um, and I'm someone who knows that conspiracies are only theories until they're proven in a lot of cases, because we've seen that. We've seen the CIA release the documentation files, and those are searchable as well. And we can we can do all of that research, we can do all of that shadow work, and then we come up to these moments where we're being called to act in alignment, to share the knowledge where we can, to make the influences that we can, and to hold our lane, to hold our space, our container, um, with as much integrity as possible, so that we can shift into deeper embodiment with this portal and be better prepared to in, endure and improve as we proceed forward on whichever timelines, whichever pathways we are proceeding on, moving forward. Um, you're going to notice a lot of changes in your life, even if you don't believe in all of this. And believing in it is not a requisite to experiencing it. So it's all to say, this isn't to be fear mongering. This isn't to be, intimidating. This is to say, where have I done the work, and what can I do now in this moment to just anchor with integrity into my truth as authentically as possible, so that I'm ready to shift. Um, and trusting that you've been doing what you need to do to get lined up for this moment on the other side of this portal is going to be for your greater good. And that kind of feels like all that I'm called to share on the matter at this time. I'm going to push this out on my socials. Feel free to share this. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. create your own posts around how you are interpreting and understanding this energetic expansion and transmutation and alchemization that we are collectively experiencing on such a tremendous scale. And let me know if you have questions about how some of these things work. I can explain in more detail, but it just felt important in this moment to get that message about anchoring in our integrity and authenticity through for the time being. Thanks. I love you.